When Itachi died, his brother could finally breathe calmly because he had fulfilled his main mission. But that was not the case. Immediately after the battle, Obito took him away and told him the truth about the destruction of the Uchiha clan. The man in the mask took advantage of the boy's hatred in order to lure him to his side. Moreover, Obito directly stated that he had specific plans for Sasuke's future. But what exactly those plans were, we never found out. Before the war, Kabuto knocked on the door of our elderly Deadside as a friend. He wanted to cooperate, but on the condition that Obito would give him Sasuke. Why? Again, who the hell knows? In the end, the young Uchiha double-crossed both of them and first fought Yakushi and then Obito as well. As a result, the plans of both the first and the second regarding Sasuke's future remained vague for us, the readers and viewers. If you, like me, are interested in speculating on this topic, then this video is for you. So, let's start with Obito. And here, it may seem that everything is quite obvious. Tobi de facto led Akatsuki. The organization kept losing members from time to time, and extra hands would not hurt it. Someone has to catch the tailed beasts. The mission to capture Gyuki is a vivid example of that. But it does not end there. Immediately after the failed capture of the Eight Tails, Obito sends Sasuke to the summit not because he cannot declare war without him, and not to pick comforting words to help the young man with his revenge. On the contrary, because of the recent failure, the connection owes itself to the man in the mask. Obito's goal is to pit the boy against the Kage and take advantage of his hatred for Danzo. This hatred, combined with extreme conditions, will multiply the stakes many times over, a short period of time. For this, Zetsu followed his boss's plan and revealed Uchiha's location. A brutal fight broke out, during which the Sharingan progressed right before our eyes. Forgive the pun, but why does Obito suddenly need to make his pet stronger? And here again, it seems that everything is obvious. A war lies ahead. There is no talk of an alliance with Kabuto yet, and Sasuke must become a powerful combat unit of Akatsuki. However, you already understand that everything is far from that simple. Otherwise, this video would not exist at all. Those who remember the plot well have already guessed what I am getting at. In one of the scenes, Obito dropped the following phrase: "Even if he surpasses Nagato, it's completely meaningless if we cannot control him." For now, I have no intention of linking him to the Gedo Mazo. It is necessary to observe him properly. What kind of connection to the Gedo Mazo is that? What is he talking about? What kind of plan is this, damn it? Let's guess how one even connected to the Gedo Mazo. Nagato did it through the rods in order to take the situation under control and release the Phantom Dragon. Obito has zero reason to want the same thing, and I am 100% sure that he did not plan to give the Rinnegan to Sasuke. After all, those are extremely valuable eyes, which it would not be a sin to pocket for himself, which Obito did. Although many seriously believe that the man in the mask wanted to turn the young man into pain too, give him the Rinnegan, and force him to resurrect him when needed. Considering the further plot, this idea seems unlikely to me. Write in the comments what you think about this. The second method of connection we saw in Madara's example, when he used it to prolong his life. Sasuke is not an old man on his deathbed, so we discard this option as well. But the third option is much more curious. When Obito and Madara fought the Alliance, they directly connected to the Ten Tails in order to control it. It is likely that the man in the mask could have viewed his protege as a second pilot. Why then does Obito specifically talk about the Gedo Mazo and not the Jubi? Possibly in order not to spoil his plan for us. At the same time, the idea of reviving the Ten Tails already existed for the author at that moment, and was essentially ready. He talked about his plan literally 14 chapters later, which is quite a short time. Thus, through the words about the Gedo Mazo, Kishimoto could have been leading us toward the upcoming revelation of the Moon's Eye plan, but without directly mentioning the Ten Tails so as not to spoil it. This is not a serious mistake. After all, essentially, the Gedo Mazo is the body of the Jubi and the vessel for its revival. The mangaka has already shown that he is ready to go much further into artistic convention to avoid spoilers. I am talking about the situation with Obito when he used Kamui with an ordinary Sharingan, only because the Mangekyo pattern would have revealed his identity. From this point of view, the mention of the statue instead of the monster itself may be a kind of small inaccuracy for the benefit of the plot. Again, all of this is exclusively my speculation. And the truth about Obito's plan regarding Sasuke, we will never know anymore. And it is a pity, because the complicated relationship between these two really represented an interesting storyline that simply led nowhere. Let's move on to the second candidate for possessing Sasuke. Seriously, if you think about it, almost all characters in Naruto can be divided into two types. Some wanted to become Hokage, and others wanted Sasuke. the main character fell into both categories. Well, judge for yourselves. Naruto, Sakura, Ino, Karin, Orochimaru, Obito, Itachi, they all doted on him. Even Madara offered the young Uchiha to defect to his side. But out of all this company, today we are interested in Kabuto, one of the most mysterious characters in the manga. So why does he need Sasuke? The most obvious option is the same reason why his former master Orochimaru had for many years dreamed of moving into an Uchiha body. And Kabuto is unlikely to share this dream. Yes, I really do not believe in the physical, if one can put it that way, side of the issue. Orochimaru's vessels were not strong enough to master Sage Mode. In this, Yakushi, as in many other things, surpassed the Sannin and rose to a completely different level, showing a worthy fight against two Uchiha. Of course, both sides were not fighting to the death, but still, the battle was intense. What am I getting at? Kabuto is already strong enough to oppose two Uchiha at once. He does not need the body of one of them. So let's move on to the other side of the issue, the moral one. After being unsealed, Orochimaru was interested in which path Sasuke would choose and where the road of adventures would lead him. Kabuto could have reasoned in a similar way. All his life, he tried to find his true self behind an endless number of masks. How much Sasuke changed over several years did not escape Kabuto, who spent a lot of time with him at different moments of the plot. Perhaps Yakushi believed that the Uchiha's example could help him understand himself and resolve his main question, especially if we take into account that Kabuto tried in every possible way to assert himself at Orochimaru's expense, placing himself above the Sannin at every opportunity and trying to prove that the dragon is better than snakes. To capture Sasuke and make him his toy, an unclosed gestalt of Orochimaru. And Yakushi could comfort himself with the thought that he would succeed, that he would be able to do it, and would show everyone that even here he surpassed Orochimaru. A third version exists at the intersection of the first two. In the fight against Sasuke, Kabuto mentioned that in the ninja world, without abilities, you are nobody. And if you do not have outstanding skills, you need to find those who do and appropriate those powers. Yakushi talked about this in the context of transplanting the abilities of Orochimaru's subordinates. But he could very well have included Sasuke in that list. Perhaps the dragon wanted to obtain the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan for himself in order to become stronger, study more techniques, and uncover more secrets of this world. In the same meeting with Obito, he said that he would help him in the study of ninjutsu. Kabuto directly says, "I need Sasuke in order to fully answer my questions." And what exactly experiments this concerns, or whether it concerns experiments at all, is a mystery. It is also impossible to ignore the fact that, in the cave, he seemed to offer the Uchiha to join forces in the fight against the Hidden Leaf, as if they had common goals, and at that moment, Yakushi, more than anyone else, shared the aspirations of the Avenger. So the room for imagination here is quite wide. Let's sum it up regarding Kabuto, or rather, try to, because there are too many options, and we should not forget that this character literally lived by lies, and we cannot be sure of his words at all. Perhaps he wanted to obtain Sasuke's body in order to take his eyes or conduct experiments on him, and with new power, study more secrets of ninjutsu. At least, he said approximately the same thing to Obito. But considering the strained relationship between the partners, I cannot be sure that Kabuto was honest with the man in the mask. In the end, he gave a very vague answer, without any specifics, and later intended to betray his ally by taking into himself the two remaining Jinchuriki. So all of this is doubtful. Just like the fact that he supposedly said that with Sasuke's help, he wanted to destroy the Hidden Leaf. Yes, he said this to Sasuke himself, only so that he would turn away from his brother and take his side. Itachi himself noted that believing Yakushi is a so-so kind of entertainment, and for the sake of his goals, he can hang any kind of noodles on your ears. What remains is the option of the character's inner turmoil, as if only Sasuke could somehow show Kabuto who he really is. And also to do what Orochimaru failed to do, that is another fixation for the dragon. However, none of this can be stated with 100% certainty, because we, as readers and viewers, judge from the outside based on the character's behavior, and do not know for sure what is in his head. Such is the case. Thank you for listening to my stream of thoughts. In videos like these, I am not so much confidently telling you something as I am giving you food for thought, so that you share your ideas on this matter in the comments. So write what, in your opinion, Obito's words meant, and what Kabuto was really trying to achieve.